Hey, y'all, it's Jesse with GreenTech. This video is going to be just a quick overview of how we cut a Glock 19X for a Trijicon SRO. Apologize if the video is a little bit shaky. I'm still trying to figure out a good way to mount it in the mill so that you can get a good view of the optic being cut and not have shaky video. That said, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section below and visit our website. There should be a link in the description below. Thank you. Have a good day.
One of the most important things to do is to make sure that the slide is perfectly set up in the vise. You can see right here we're checking the Z height, and we're also moving our Heimer back and forth to make sure that the slide is parallel to the vise and perpendicular to the spindle nose or the tool which will be doing the milling. The next thing we need to do is establish a Y-axis. To do that, we typically pick up both sides of the slide. Right now you can see I'm finding the left side of the slide and establishing that as Y0. I'll then come across, pick up the right side of the slide, and divide that number by 2, and that will make sure that we are dead center in the middle of the slide whenever we do the cut. Now that we know the exact location of the center of the pistol, we can pick up our final axis, which is the X-axis. I usually model that off the breech face, knowing that it's a perfectly perpendicular surface. And now for the fun part. What you're seeing here for these next two tools that you'll see, this is just roughing passes. This is just clearing the kind of the excess material out of the way so we can get into the more fine detail. This here is about a half inch end mill, and again it just goes through and knocks out the most of it. And what you're seeing now, this is a 6mm end mill. That's an adaptive pass, a 2D adaptive, and it's going through and just clearing out material as quickly as possible. Doesn't have to be pretty at this point. All right, now to some of the more fine detail. This is a 2D contour. This is going through and just making sure that front edge is nice and clean. Same thing on the back edge. You'll notice that I'm cutting air on a few of these passes, and that's because I found that oftentimes there's a little burr or something like that, and it only takes a second to clean that up. Going through, contouring around the post. If anybody tells you you do not need indexing bosses, go somewhere else. Same thing here, just going around those posts, making sure that they're nice and clean, down to exact specifications. And lastly, this is a finishing pass. It's just a parallel. It's going through, taking itty bitty bites of material, clearing it out so that you get a nice mirror-like finish on that surface there. And the last thing you're going to see here, excuse me, I forgot to press record when I was drilling the holes, but it's a drill, goes into a hole. But what you're going to see here is what's called a thread mill. Rather than going through and trying to tap holes manually, I use a thread mill for just about everything I do. It goes through and essentially interpolates a helical pattern and cuts it absolutely perfect every single time.
And now for the most important part, making sure that everything actually fits. You can see that even though it's not been screwed down yet, the optic is nice and tight, it's not moving anywhere. And it'll actually get a little bit tighter once it's been Cerakoted. We usually cut about 2 thou or 2 mil over so that we can apply Cerakote later. But we'll go ahead and check this first screw, make sure it fits. As you can see, the threads are perfect. Screw fits nice and tight. And even though it's only got one screw in, the optic's not going anywhere. And we'll go ahead and check the other screw now. And just like the first, perfect threads. Optic's nice and secure. This is an image of that slide after it's been sandblasted and prepped for Cerakote. And the next image you'll see is the finished product ready to be sent off to the customer. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and please feel free to ask us any questions in the comment section below or reach out by our website, www.greentechtactical.com. Thank you. Have a good day.